This has easily been the hardest thing we've ever done as a company. The industry has been decimated from a couple different angles. One is all the rules of business just changed. One of the new rules of the industry I'm in is that you can't run a fine dining restaurant. You're not actually serving anyone. You'd be doing them a disservice. So the service industry just became a disservice industry, which is kind of an earth-shaking change if you're a restaurant. And so many people lost their jobs. I don't know what the current stats are. In good times, a lot of these folks are one bad break away from falling through the cracks. So you can imagine now that in the hardest of times, when the discussion on the table is mass unemployment across our country, and when we still don't know the devastating effects of this thing, there are people who are terrified because there's just no guarantee they make it through, and there's no safety net for them. And the restaurant industry is full of them. When this thing first arrived, the buzzword, and it still is to socially distance. Said another way, that is to turn away from the other. That is to turn away from the stranger, and in many cases, turn away from our own family members, to keep apart from. And what a restaurant does, what hospitality is exactly the opposite. It's the turning towards the unknown, the stranger, the thing that is uncertain. And so in this time when we're being told to do the opposite of what we were born to do and get paid to do, I think we're being reminded all the time exactly how alike we all are. And no one does that better than the hospitality industry, to invite you to sit down at a table and to come face to face with one another, to literally sit turned towards one another, to break bread together. Like, that is the sacrament and the tradition that we've been practicing for a zillion years on this planet, right? Whether that's like caveman and big thing with the tusks, or whether that's fancy food with little tweezers, it's the same mojo. And so that is at stake, while everything else kind of lies in the wings. So that's what we're fighting for. I think that what's remarkable is that Big Table existed before the world paid attention to the fact that there was a huge need in the restaurant industry. And then a pandemic sweeps across our country, and that need just exponentially exploded. And here Big Table is just saying like, and we're still here. It's like a hurricane rescue task force in the city when the hurricane arrives. Like, oh look, this is what we do for a living. And so I felt so fortunate and so thankful to be able to lean on them, and proud of them for what they were doing, and proud for the rest of the country to look at Seattle and Spokane, obviously, and to say, wow, what they're doing is exactly what we need right now. And they've been at it for 10 years. And so they're just that much further down the road of understanding how we move forward and how we progress and what hope actually looks like in the midst of a hard time. So yes, this is hard, but it doesn't mean that hope is gone in any way. And I think a Big Table is the folks who remind us of what it looks like to care for people in that way, to bring hope.